Welcome to another segment, Focus on Finance. I am Shirley Liu, your host. The last time when you and I talked on the other previous segment, we talked about my book that's coming out, FIAs. And one of the things I had promised you at that point in time, we were going to do a second segment, talking about the myth of the FIA, the product. You know, there are things that some of you guys may have heard about fixed index annuity. It's too good to be true. It doesn't sound real. So again, it's awesome that I have my partner here next to me, Enzo Giovanni. As you guys know, Enzo was instrumental in helping me publish the FIAs. He was really good about getting inside my head and my brain, trying to understand what it is all about. So with that being said, Enzo, welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here again.
Good. So I know that when you and I were working together on this awesome book, there was a lot of things that I guess you called me, and it's really interesting. He called me, he goes, Shirley, we got a problem. And I'm like, what's the problem? He goes, you know what? There were a lot of people out there having question about this, and then it's like, kind of like they don't believe this stuff. And so Enzo was able to found these myths or these concerns. So can you kind of share with that?
Yeah. So in preparation for this book, and I know Shirley and I, when we partnered up to try to create this book, we wanted to create a book that truly would be a resource for the person who's looking at their retirement options, right?
Yeah.
And as I was doing my research, of course, I'm reading all of the articles and discourse that's out there online on the internet, and the reality is that a lot of it is just inaccurate or misleading. There's parts of it that are true, but I was surprised how inaccurate it was. And so that's why I really do think that this book, and may I plug it here right here?
Absolutely.
So this is Shirley's book, FIAs. It is coming out in June of 2024. And so, and that's what we're talking about today. And this is an important topic because retirement, savings, it's all very important. So, there's two things you have to remember with FIA. Number one, it's all about growth and it's all about protection.
Yes.
I mean, you're growing your money using index strategy. You're growing your money by compounding your money. You're growing your money by using by leveraging the markets, and you're protecting your money because you're never going to lose, right? You're not going to lose if the market goes down. If your principal's protected in an FIA, and your income's protected, your life savings are protected, and that's precisely what people are worried about. How can I protect my life savings but still grow it? But to address the myths, there are a bunch of things out there, and I'm going to flip the script on you, Shirley, because I want to, I'm going to kind of say some of them, and I'll just let you sort of kind of address it. So one that we often see with the fixed index annuity, and typically it's the ones who are just selling fixed annuities, or it's the financial advisors who are just pushing 401ks and that sort of thing. But what they tend to say is, well, these are too complicated. It's too complicated, which I don't think is by the way, to me that says, hey, you know what, maybe we should learn more. but what do you think, about that particular, counterpoint? Okay,
so Enzo was putting you on the hot seat here, guys. Well, first of all, you're right. You're not the first one that said that. I literally have also met with some of the biggest, baddest firm that told me fixed index annuity are complicated. So my response to it is very simple. The fixed index annuity, if the stock market makes money, you make money. If the market loses, it locks down at zero. And they give you choices of different accounts that you can choose from. You can change it once a year or every 2 years, depends on the company and the fund that you pick. So it's like you only have the upside with zero loss. So when it comes out complicated and too hard, I don't know about you. You can make money when the market makes, but you don't lose when the market loses. I don't see how difficult that is.
And you know what I think it is too, is to add on top of that, because just like you, I'm helping clients every day and literally setting them up with these fixed index annuities from various companies. We're brokers, so we're not beholden to one company. We're just looking for the best product from the best company for our client for that particular purpose, right?
I know, absolutely.
Yeah, we're trying to find out what are they trying to do, what are we trying to get with that, and with the myth.
So what else, what other myth is out there?
Yeah, so, again, too complicated, but as I'm helping these clients, if it's that complicated, how come after me serving them for about an hour in one meeting, they have a very good grip on it? Okay, so if it's that complicated, why is it's not that complicated if in one session, in one meeting with them, I can explain this to them and they have a very good feel for it. And usually it's the second and third meeting where we're really trying to, narrow down and figure out exactly how we're going to configure this thing to optimize for their particular need. Right. But if I can explain it to them in one meeting, that to me is not that complicated, and that is just one thing. So another thing people will say, Shirley, is, well, why hasn't my financial advisor told me about this, or something like that. So why don't you address that?
It's interesting. Oh my gosh, I hear that all the time as well. So here's a couple reasons why sometimes your financial advisor or folks out there may not tell you about it. For one thing, it's very important you have to understand people get employment, different company, different variation. And some firm may make money on fees, per se. For one thing, they're just basically, whether you make money or don't lose money, it doesn't matter. They get a percentage of a fee because they're managing your money, okay? So one hand, they go by asset. What is it asset you have? So to them, regardless what the market does, they do that. The other thing, sometimes some firms do not suggest or allow for them to sell that particular product, okay? And that could be very well with some of the bigger firms that we don't like it, we don't want to do it. Right?
Yeah, and because technically it is an insurance product, right?
It is.
And so you have to be insurance broker to do that.
And you got to have certain certification for that piece. So they may have not that certification to be able to sell that product. So that could be the other reason. The third reason is I do sometimes have financial advisor comes to me and say, hey, I haven't heard about this at all, but I've heard it's a pretty good thing because I read up on it. And those are really open-minded financial advisors that say, you know what, I want to do the right way. I want to do fiduciary and responsibility and share my client, here are the different options. And just because they honestly told me they have not heard of it. They don't know about it, they haven't heard of it. So that was really the honest opinion, being able to it. And the other thing is that, not everybody fits all the needs, but this thing, I call it the Goldilocks keys. Are you kidding me? It's one thing invest, stock and mutual fund, playing all the things in a very more variable market. And I know crypto, right? Oh my gosh, crypto's going like crazy right now. People's going like, oh, should I invest? Well, you know what happened a couple of years ago, right? People made a ton of money, but they also lost a lot more ton of money as well. So play in the market for the money that you could afford to lose. That's all I'm saying. And if you make a ton of money, great, So I highly, like I said, all these variation with financial advisor, why they don't tell you, it's because I believe in some of these reasons, and some are just, like I said, want to do the good things, but they just may not know,
And speaking of the fees you mentioned, because that is another thing that some people will say, oh, the fees are too high, which I'm taken aback by, because you can actually get an FIA and have no fees. You literally don't pay. You don't even pay us.
Then what do they talk about fees? And people asking out there, and so where does that come in?
I don't know, because now to be fair, there are some fees that you can opt into, right? And there are optional fees. And if you do opt into these very low percentage fees, it could be 0.7 of 1%, it could be 1%, it could be 1.5%. I don't see anything higher than that. But the point is that if you do opt into these fees, you get potential higher gains. And that's a voluntary thing that you can do year to year. You can change it anytime. But, when you consider what money managers do, like you said, they're making money off of assets under management. And they're making money whether you make money or not.
Right.
And they're doing that, they're making that money and they're making that fee every single year.
I know.
Whereas it's a very different thing here. This is essentially paid to us one time. We helped them connect with the company. We brought them business. We brokered the deal, and we're out.
I know.
And they don't have to pay us a dime in the process. So I don't know.
I know, that's what's amazing about it. It's interesting when you talk about even the fees on this. I think one of the concern that a lot of folks sometimes comes to me and said, well, I need my money. Is it locked in? I heard it's all locked in. I can't touch it. It's very, very difficult. And one of the things I need to bring for you guys to understand, remember when you do these fixed index annuity, a lot of time it's really money coming from your 401k or your IRA or TSP if you work for a federal agency and things like that. Understand, if you got $500,000 in those accounts, what happens if you decide to go in tomorrow and tell the IRS that I think I'm going to use all my money tomorrow, $500,000. What do you think is going to happen?
They'll penalize you.
Thank you. Well, not only penalize you, depends on your age, right? That's
Yep,
first
yep,
of all.
yep.
And then second of all, you get how much taxes? I mean, are these things are taxable? So the chances of you going in there and saying, okay, let me go take $500,000 out tomorrow and spend and buy something else, you've got that capital gain,
Yeah, and to add to that, I mean, obviously you're talking about liquidity, right?
Yeah,
And that is what some
exactly.
people are saying. Some people will say, well, the FIA is illiquid. Well, everything is illiquid. And to your point, Shirley, yes, your current IRA, your 401k, your 403b, all those accounts are illiquid as well, because if you're not at least 59 and a half years old, then you will be charged a penalty by the IRS. So that's one. Like you also said, you would never just take out all your money at once because you have a big tax bill. So nobody would do it that way anyway.
Yeah.
So the fixed index annuity, you can take out money every single year. And you can also set it up where you can take out all of your money back out. You don't pay any penalties. You don't owe anything to IRS.
Right. It depends on the account when you set them up.
Right. If you set it up that way. And so obviously that's very liquid. And so I think the whole liquidity, illiquidity topic is also something that is overstated. Yes, there is some illiquidity, but it's when you really compare it to the other ones, that I don't know if that's...
Well, one of the things, and so when you and I were researching this, one of the things I love about fixed index annuity is giving it lifetime income. Oh my gosh, my client can start getting lifetime income day one. Ladies and gentlemen, did you hear what I just said? Day one. You didn't have to sit there and wait until gazillion years. So to me, that's very powerful.
And just one more point there, I think that's a big one. Guaranteed income is what this is all about also. This is the point of the FIA, is to provide guaranteed income for life at some point in time. And that's a big one. And the second last point is, when you mentioned the 403Bs, 401Ks, people need to know you can roll over those accounts. You can take a current 401K or IRA and you can roll it over into your FIA and it becomes your FIA IRA. You can even roll over your Roth.
Yeah.
And now you have a tax-free vehicle that is operating in the environment of an FIA.
I love that. So reach out to us, Shirley Lou, 703-608-1203. It's my direct line, and then I would love to help you out, and that's no charge, guys.
And don't forget the book coming
and then
out very soon.
FIA ASCP is coming.